This is KVUE News at 6.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Rush.
And I'm Quita Culpepper. We will get to the latest in the Syrian airstrike, but we begin with breaking news happening in southwest Travis County. According to our own Tony Plahetsky, an Austin defense attorney has been found dead inside his home, and police say it's suspicious. The man, whose name has not yet been released, was found inside his home near Rockwood Circle off US 290. Paramedics got a call this morning at around 11:45, and when they entered, they found his body. Now sheriff's deputies are investigating. This is a developing story, and we'll continue to bring you updates as they come in.
President Trump dealing with his first international crisis. The U.S. Navy released this video today showing some of the 59 Tomahawk missiles launched from the USS Porter. The Tomahawk land attack missiles are a key tool in the DoD's arsenal. This type of missile was first used in 1991 during Operation Desert Storm. According to the U.S. Navy, one missile cost $569,000 back then. With inflation, that's nearly $832,000 now. The missiles are more than 20 feet long with the booster attached and can reach speeds of up to 550 miles per hour.
And take a look. It's these images of innocent people, including children, choking on poison gas that reportedly moved the president to take action.
Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. It was a slow and brutal death. No child of God should ever suffer such horror. Tonight I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, spoke out on that attack, saying the U.S. is prepared for further action if necessary.
From lawmakers to security analysts, opinions are wide-ranging on the United States' actions last night. KVUE's Michael Perchik joins us live to break it all down. Michael?
Quita and Mike, much of the analysis focuses not solely on last night's airstrikes, but on the unknown of future measures taken by U.S. forces. The attention now shifting into what's next in an increasingly bloody conflict. Missile strikes raining over Syria Thursday night in the first military attacks of the Trump administration. The actions taken after reports emerged that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad used chemical weapons in attacking and killing 83 people, many of whom were women and children, earlier this week.
It was a horrific attack on a civilian hospital. And Assad has been able to get away with this for too long.
Representative Michael McCall chairs the House Homeland Security Committee. President Trump did not receive congressional approval prior to the operation, a point McCall weighed in on.
I think an authorization of use of military force is appropriate here. I think Congress should play a role in this under the Constitution, so I think you'll see that moving forward.
The U.S. airstrike included roughly 60 cruise missiles, which is not considered a wide-scale operation. But the question now is, was this a one-off mission or a precursor of things to come? Dr. Paul Miller, the Associate Director for the Clements Center for National Security at UT, said that answer is still unknown.
I think for 6 years now, since the beginning of the Syrian civil war, we've never really had a coherent goal laid out. What does America want to accomplish in Syria and in Iraq?
While the use of chemical warfare is universally condemned, known as the red line by many U.S. politicians, Miller said that line of thinking is morally arbitrary in this situation.
Bashar al-Assad killed 500,000 of his own people, women and children and civilians, over the past 6 years. The United States did nothing. And now when he kills, 83 with a chemical weapon, that's apparently the line we're willing to enforce. And so the message we're communicating is, it's okay to kill your civilians as long as you don't do it with chemical weapons.
As for direct threats to national security, Miller believes the ongoing situations in Ukraine and the Korean Peninsula both pose a greater danger to America than does Syria. Russia has been a longtime supporter of the Assad regime and has used its veto power on the UN Security Council to protect him. In the past, the Kremlin was made aware of the U.S. attack prior to its deployment. Miller said he does not believe Russia will view this as an act of aggression towards them. Mike and Quita.
Michael, thank you. We also asked you if you agree with President Trump's decision to attack Syria.
Linda says yes. We have to draw the line with chemical weapons on anyone, especially innocent children. Connie says President Trump had to do something, that we need to show the world we are not going to sit back and do nothing.
Others opposed. Lori says she has wanted something done about Syria for years, but this was not done well. Ruth thinks the president should have gone through Congress, but does think the U.S. needs to help the Syrians. A nationwide manhunt is underway in Sweden after someone stole a beer truck and plowed it into a department store, killing 4 people and injuring 15 others. It happened in Stockholm and is considered a terror attack. The driver drove the truck down a busy shopping walkway. It sparked mass panic, people seen running from the area. Police officers are now patrolling the streets from the ground and from the air as Swedish authorities look to question this man, seen in the area at the same time of the attack. One person involved in the attack has been arrested.
Several attacks involving trucks or cars going into crowds have been a terror tactic in Europe this past year. In London last month, a man plowed an SUV through pedestrians on the sidewalk before killing a police officer. A truck drove into a popular Christmas market in Berlin last year, killing 12 people. And last July in Nice, France, a cargo truck drove into a crowd, killing 86 people.
Now let's take a live look outside. We kind of sound like a broken record, but another day of blue skies and sunshine across central Texas. But the winds have started to pick up.
They really have. Chief meteorologist Albert Ramon says it's going to be bringing in some storms just in time for next week. Is that right, Albert?
Yeah, the good news is we're going to hold off on those best rain chances until after the weekend, unlike this past weekend. So more wind, more humidity over the weekend will lead to more cloud cover, but then thunderstorm chances, especially Monday, Tuesday of next week. Right now, we're looking at a pretty consistent southerly wind that's pumping in that warm, moist air. Temperatures right now, mid to upper 70s after making our highs in the low 80s at 79 degrees in Austin, 74 Fredericksburg, at 78 in LaGrange. So breezy, warm this weekend, other than a little drizzle Sunday morning, mainly dry. Thunderstorm chances, though, on Monday, something for us to keep an eye on. Some of the new data just coming into the Storm Center suggesting some of that activity could be on the strong side. Again, that's going to be Monday afternoon into Monday evening. Much more on that and the rest of your forecast coming up.
Thanks, Albert. While you were sleeping last night, the Texas House passed a $218 billion budget. Lawmakers debated hundreds of amendments well into the night, more than 15 hours worth of work. The budget will now go to a conference committee where members of the House and Senate will negotiate to a final version. Under the new budget, there will be more funding for foster care and child protective services. Lawmakers voted against including funding for school vouchers.
Now we want to follow up on a Defenders exclusive we brought to you yesterday. Travis County plans to bring 2,400 electronic tablets inside the jail for inmates.
The tablets have features like a job search, podcasts, music, ebooks, and even games. Eventually, inmates could make phone calls from their cells. Officials say they could help reward inmates for good behavior and help them rehab their lives. But you, the viewer, think otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of interest in this one. Over 100 of you commented on our Facebook post with your thoughts and questions. We wanted to try to answer some of them. Many of you asking about the funding, saying the county should not spend money on that. Well, it won't be, at least not directly. A company is furnishing them as part of a contract that provides telephone service for the jail. And some of you just believe criminals should not be rewarded. But the most overwhelming response we saw was people saying the tablet should be given to our schools and our students instead.
Now, we would love to hear more about what you think, so make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms and voice your opinion.